I am going to be doing a quick recap for both the academic and general candidates, wherein there's going to be a full, from the beginning, from introduction till the end. I'm going to talk to you about each and every aspect in both, report as well as the letter. And then I'm going to give you guys an activity to do, okay? Especially for writing, the more activities you do, the more practice you have, the better you become, the better you get, which is why I'm dedicating one portion of the class only to make you do activities so that you can do, maximum number of candidates can do it and share their assignments with me to get a feedback. All right. Let's start without wasting too much time. So first of all, once again, guys, general candidates, just for today, in fact, you will have to, you don't have to focus on this aspect because task 2, anyway, we're going to start off today, and then it's going to be same for both academic and general candidates. So the first part of it for the next couple of minutes, general candidates, do not get confused. I'm only talking to academic candidates about their task. All right. So all the academic candidates, please focus, please pay attention. All right. So the very first thing you need to understand is in task 1, you have or you will get either a chart or a diagram, and you have to write a report. And what do you mean by writing a report? You basically have to understand the chart or the diagram very well and then elaborate it. You do not have to make any assumptions, any conclusions, or state your opinions, nothing. All right, this has to be very clear. Okay, as soon as you get your question paper, the very first thing you will do, or whenever you practice, you will have to first analyze the chart or the diagram. So you may get either a pie chart, a line graph, a bar graph, or you may get a table, with some data. Or you may get 2 pie charts, 2 line graphs to compare. You may also get a map that's not very, that's something which people don't get frequently, but let us know about it. Okay, you may get a map or a process of how something is made or manufactured. That could be that could be a task that you get. Or you may get multiple graphs, like a combination of charts or diagram, maybe 1 pie chart and 1 line graph talking about a certain common topic. Okay, you need to analyze, take at least 2 to 3 minutes to understand what all information has been given to you in the chart. Note the main features, either make a mental note or jot it down on your question paper if you're taking a paper-based test, and then move on to writing. You need to understand that, like I said, in report writing, you do not make any assumptions or conclusions. So you don't have that paragraph at all in a report writing task. Okay, the structure is extremely simple. You have an introduction, overview, and body paragraphs. Today, if at all you've missed out the previous classes and still haven't gotten a chance to view the videos, it's okay. Understand everything carefully. Okay, in the introduction, the very first thing you need to do, you can write 2 sentences or 1 big sentence, either, that's okay, but know what you have to write. The very first thing you should be doing is rephrase or paraphrase the topic that is given to you. Do not copy it as it is, please, because that's not paraphrasing. Rewrite and restructure the topic. And the next sentence ideally should be in the introduction itself. You must look at the high-level information given in the pie chart or a bar graph or whatever, which is maybe the title of the top of the graph or the chart or the diagram, what is there in the x-axis, y-axis, and the elements. Okay, so you can make a note of that and complete your introduction. Okay, then you move on to the overview. Overview is very simple. Any element, any aspect which is very prominent, not in one specific year, but overall is prominent and stands out, you have to mention that. The overall data, not just one single, in one single year or something. Overall, the functioning or overall the pattern, if it is prominent, either the highest or the lowest, totally different from the others, then you are going to write about it. But you will not mention any numbers or years in your overview. Reserve all that for the body paragraphs. Okay, all the academic candidates, is it clear so far? Please type a yes in the chat and let me know. Okay, and then you write the body paragraphs. As I told you last time, it is important to combine all the similar trends in the body paragraphs. Okay, it makes your life easier and you will be able to compare better. Okay, wherever you need to make comparisons, it becomes easier. Also, pinpoint or jot down all the main ideas, the main details or the key features. All right. In your body paragraphs, it is essential to mention numbers, maybe years, maybe the percentage, whatever it is, please mention that. Do not leave it with or do not just write sentences, write the numbers, write the data, because that's what's going to fetch you marks. Clear? All right, let's look at an example quickly, and then I will move on to the general candidates. Okay, so here in this particular chart, we have two pie charts given, okay? One for Japan and one for Malaysia. And there are about 5 elements, housing, transport, food, healthcare, and other goods. Each is color-coded, okay? So we have something over here from Japan and for Malaysia. Now, what is it? The pie charts describe average household expenditures by major categories in Japan and Malaysia in 2010. So this is talking about household expenditure. How much on an average do people in Japan and Malaysia spend on these 5 categories? Okay, what do you have to do? You have to write a report describing the main information shown. All right, now let's move on and see how to write the introduction. Like I said, what do you do in an introduction? You have to paraphrase and mention certain high-level information. So let's see how that is done. The pie charts compare. Look at the kind of words that are used, all right? Because there are 2 pie charts and they are obviously also comparing how is the household expenditure and average household expenditure in Japan and Malaysia. You are comparing at the end of the day. So the pie charts compare the proportions of money spent. I have not written expenditure. I have changed it to proportions of money spent in Japan and Malaysia in 2010 based on 5 categories: housing, transport, food, healthcare, and other goods and services. What have I done? Paraphrase the topic, and I have stated the elements. Now, if at all there were 8 or 9 elements, I would not have written each and every element. I would have probably written 2 or 3 and said so on. Okay, are all the academic candidates with me? Can you please let me know? Okay, great. The next comes the overview, and it says, it is evident. Now, what is it that before I jump into reading it, let me just go through the graphs or the pie charts, I'm sorry, and let's see what is so evident about it, okay? When you look at Japan, I noticed that housing or maximum expenditure is on housing. And in case of Malaysia, it's other goods and services. Correct? And when I look at it even more, you have, okay, yeah, looks like healthcare. Okay, healthcare purple is actually given as yellow here, so don't get confused. Okay, healthcare is basically the least, what do you say, prioritized aspect. Okay, so I've written, it is evident that the main expenses in both the countries were on food and housing and other goods and services, whereas least priority was given to healthcare. And I've used the word whereas to show the contrast. And that's how I've written the overview, not written any numbers here. All right. Now, moving on to a body paragraph 1. It says, I'm going to now talk about all the high expenditure products in one body paragraph. And what are they? You have housing, you have other goods and services, and food. All right. Transportation and healthcare will come in another paragraph altogether, because people are not spending as much on these two products or these two categories. All right. So as clearly illustrated, again, look at the kind of words that are used. Malaysia spent. Now, why not spends? Because it's not about the present. It's already over. We're talking about what happened in the average household expenditure in 2010. So as clearly illustrated, Malaysia spent 34% on other goods and services, while in Japan, the expenditure was 21%. So look at this, 31%, 21% other goods and services. In Japan, maximum priority was given to housing with an expenditure of 29%, followed by 26% in Malaysia. So what have I done? I have specified the percentage for both. So housing is maximum in Japan, and the second highest, or rather, that is only 26% in Malaysia, very closely followed in Malaysia, but still Malaysia spends most on other goods and services. And that's something I've already mentioned. Besides, the outgoing costs, expenditure, another term for that, was significant in both these countries with 27 and 24% in Malaysia and Japan respectively. Now, what have I done? 27 and 24%. And then I said Malaysia and Japan respectively, which means Malaysia spent 27% on food and Japan spent 24% on food. Are you getting it? So this is another way to write your or compare two aspects. All right, let's move on to the next paragraph. And like I said, here I'm going to talk about probably the least prioritized aspects or categories. In contrast, complete opposite, okay? Transportation in both these countries fell in the lower spending spectrum with 10% in Malaysia and 20% in Japan. The least amount of money was spent on healthcare, which we've already mentioned in the overview. In Japan, the cost for this was 6%, twice as that in Malaysia, which spent a meager or as less as 3% in this particular area. Are you getting it? So how have I compared? I've said it's 20%, transportation is 20% in Japan and 10% in Malaysia. I've already mentioned that, and I've said that it falls in the lower spending spectrum. Whereas in terms of healthcare, I've used a phrase twice as that in Malaysia. In Japan, the cost for this was 6%, twice as that in Malaysia, which spent a meager of 3% in this area, which means in Malaysia, it was half, all right, obviously. Are you getting it? They spent on an average just half of that which was spent in Japan. Is it clear? Have you understood how to write it? It's just a quick recap that we are doing, all right, because I'm going to give you a full report writing activity to do after this. All right, okay. Okay, if this is clear, I would want you to again be here only because I'm going to give activities to both of you at the same time, both academic and general candidates. Now, I'm going to move on to general candidates and talk about task 1 for them. So academic candidates, do not get confused. Your task is over. General candidates, are you there? Just quickly type a yes in the chat so I know you are here. Great. All right. So General candidates, for you, task 1 in writing is very different. You will get a letter writing topic and you have to write a letter. There are 3 letter types which we've gone through: formal, semi-formal, and informal. Formal letter is when you are writing to somebody you don't know. Maybe an insurance manager, a customer care of an e-commerce company, anybody who you don't know. Semi-formal letter is when you write to somebody who's your acquaintance. All right. Maybe your landlord, your landlady, your neighbor, your society secretary. All right. You know them, but they're not your best of friends. And even if they are in reality, put it in the semi-formal category. And informal is when you're writing to your friends and family. All right. So this, I'm sure, is clear. In your letter writing, we do not write in IELTS, okay? We do not write any addresses. We do not write any subject line, no matter what kind of letter it is, okay? We directly start with salutation, write the letter, and then close it. So for formal letter, our opening always is going to be "Dear Sir" or "Madam," and then you close it by writing "Yours faithfully." Okay, remember, this is a thumb rule, just follow it as it is. Semi-formal letter, you always will write "Dear Mr., Miss," or Mrs. and last name, and close it by writing "Yours sincerely." And informal letter is always first name basis, so "Dear" and name of that person, first name, and "Regards." Okay, now, letter writing is structured differently, okay, from report writing. You will write obviously an introduction, then you have body paragraphs, and then conclusion. In the introduction, if it is a formal letter, and for some semi-formal letters, write who you are, okay? And then give a reason or purpose for writing that letter. Do not give any explanation just in one statement, okay? You will have to say, why is it that you're writing a letter to them? If it is an informal letter, after the opening, write some greeting, ask, "How are you? I received your letter." Maybe one statement, like a greeting statement, and then write the purpose. In the introduction, purpose has to be written no matter what in one line. Please do not give any explanation here, because otherwise you will just be messing up the whole structure. Okay, and then you start writing the body paragraphs. In your letter writing task itself, you have 3 bullet points. They ask you or they tell you what you're supposed to do or what is expected out of you. So each bullet point corresponds to 1 body paragraph. Okay, and in that you will have to obviously elaborate. You cannot write 1 word or 1 or 2 sentences, because you have to write up to 150 words. So make it a point to elaborate, and also remember, while you're writing, please focus on the tone of the letter. If it's a formal and a semi-formal letter, please let your tone be a little business-like. If you're writing informal letter, you can be casual. For example, in a formal letter or in a semi-formal letter, you will always write "I have" or "I am." But in informal, you can write "I've got," or "I have" can be contracted, or "I'm doing well." Okay, are you getting my point? You can use contractions in informal letter, but not in formal or semi-formal. Clear? Yeah, and make sure whatever kind of letter it is, complaint letter, apology letter, or a letter where you're expressing your anger or disappointment, request letter, anything, make sure you don't use terms or phrases which are very rude. Okay, keep it subtle. Convey your message in a very subtle manner. After you write the body paragraphs, you then write the conclusion, where you basically, request a response from the person who's going to receive the letter, and then close it by using your salutation. All right. Guys, so far so good. Yes, please type in the chat, let me know. Okay. Great. All right, let's do a quick example. Let's read the question here. It says, write a letter to your friends. So I know I have to write an informal letter. You've borrowed something from your friend and it got damaged. In your letter, you should write, what all should you include? Apologize for damaging the product, explain what happened, and say how you are going to fix the issue. So you have to write these 3 bullet points for sure. All right, so let's look at how to write the introduction. So it says, obviously it's an informal letter, so it's going to be first name basis. Hi Shruti, I hope you are doing well. I understand that it took me so long to write to you, but at last I put pen to paper to explain why I have not returned your pen drive that I borrowed from you. I have written a purpose. And because it's an apology letter, I have mentioned that I took quite some time to respond or write to my friend. Okay, now, my first body paragraph, what do I need to address? I have to apologize for damaging that product, which is the pen drive that I've borrowed. Honestly, look at this short form or contraction. I've been feeling guilty that I accidentally damaged your pen drive. I know how important it is to you as you had your final year project and some college files in it. So I have already apologized by saying I'm feeling guilty. I don't have to keep saying sorry, sorry, sorry in every paragraph. I have to convey it in such a manner that yes, I am apologetic about it. Okay. You can also write, instead of I've been feeling guilty, you can say that I am very sorry that I accidentally damaged your pen drive. That's okay. But don't keep writing it over and over again. The way you frame your sentences must be very subtle. Okay. Which is why I've mentioned even in the feedback to most of you to read a lot of sample letters which are there on Canvas. Okay. Now, the second paragraph, I have to explain what happened. So let us look at the explanation. The day I borrowed it from you, I had to upload my final research paper. Unfortunately, a bad software virus got transferred to the drive while I was using it on my office desktop. So I'm explaining how did the pen drive get damaged. This led to all your data and files to vanish completely from it. Are you getting it? So in the first paragraph, I've apologized. I've said I'm feeling very guilty. Then I am explaining to her how it all happened. Now I need to say how I'm going to fix this issue. Okay. And like I said, with the third bullet point, you write the third body paragraph, and then you write one statement of conclusion. Luckily, my colleague from the IT department has found an alternate data recovery software to retrieve the lost data back on the drive. I'm relying on his help and hoping to get an update tomorrow. So I have also mentioned how I'm going to fix this issue. It can be any product. It can be even a book that you're apologizing for. Doesn't matter, but make sure whatever you write, it is clear. And then finally, the conclusion statement. I'm extremely sorry for all the hassle and will be more careful henceforth. Looking forward to hear from you on this. Okay, so what have I done? I have apologized once again, and I've given an assurance that I will not do it again anytime. And I'm waiting for her to reply. And then I'm going to close my letter by writing regards or take care or all the best, whatever, depending on the situation. You can also write things like that. Okay. For example, you can also write take care, okay, or keep in touch, depending on the kind of informal letter it is. Not for formal and semi-formal, this is specifically for informal, okay, or see you soon, comma, and then you write your name. Don't write your full name. Are you all getting my point? All the general candidates, is it clear? Yes, okay. All right, and make sure that you check the number of words. If you are both academic and general, remember, if you're taking a paper-based test, just count the number of words on one line and see how many lines you've completed. You'll get an approximate Word count. If you're taking a computer-based test, a word counter will be there. You can take a look at that. Okay. Make sure it's anywhere between 150 to 180 words, no matter what, not even a word less than 150. Is it clear, all of you guys? Any doubts, any questions? Both academic and general candidates, you can ask me. Okay, Dr. Rakshanda has asked, do we have to write false names in the letter? No, no, no. You can write your names also. You don't have to write false names or anything. Anybody else, any doubts? Academic candidates, you also can ask me any queries if you have. General candidates, you also can post any questions. Okay. Giving you guys 1 minute. If there are any questions, you ask. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put you guys in breakout room at this today, because I'm going to give both of you tasks at the same time. Okay. Okay, Jeshma, that's a good question. In report, do we use past tense? No, it depends on the years that are given. The pie chart that I showed you was data which they collected in 2010, and now it's 2021. I can't write it in present tense. Okay, you may get a report where you have data from past tense, present tense, and future tense. Okay, as in past, present, and future. In that case, you'll have to use all the 3 tenses depending on how you're writing it. And depending on what aspect are you talking about at that point. Is it clear, Jeshma? Any other doubts or questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share a document on the group. Okay. All of you need to open the same document because I've given academic and general training questions right there. I will also open it here. So yes, the day 14 the day 14 presentation or day 14 class or session is over. Just a quick recap. Academic candidates, analyze the task before you start writing. Look at the different aspects of your chart and diagram. Make sure in the body paragraph you combine all the similar trends, and always use numbers, data, and years in the body paragraphs. General candidates, when you read the question, understand what exactly you have to do and whether it's a formal, semi-formal, or informal letter. And then based on that, you will have to write a specific introduction where purpose is always mandatory. And then you write your body paragraphs based on the kind of bullet points you have. Every bullet point corresponds to one body paragraph, and then you conclude your letter. Make sure you follow a certain tone. Don't keep shifting between formal to informal at any time. If you're writing a formal letter or semi-formal letter, let it be business-like throughout. And if it's an informal letter, you can keep it very casual. Clear? Yes. Now, with this, having said this, we finished the day 14 session, and I am going to start day 15 session. I will give you all 5 minutes break. I would suggest be in the class. Even if you don't want to be a part of the doubt clearing session, I'm okay. But for the next half an hour, don't miss it because it's an overview of writing task 2, and I really want all of you to be there. I'll give you guys about 4 to 5 minutes break. We'll meet at 6:35, 6:30. Yeah, I think that should be good. Again, sincere request that, I request you all to stay back at least for the next half an hour, even if you don't want to be there for the doubt clearing session. Okay, 5 minutes and we're going to be back. Quickly get some water to drink. I don't want to overload you with information. All right. Let's start off with the new session, a different session. We finished task 1. And I hope you've understood it very well. I hope that you've now become more confident in, doing task 1 topics, be it academic or general. Okay, we're going to start off with task 2. And today I'm just going to give you the task 2 overview and talk about the different types of essay, because I want to be able to segregate each part of the essay and make it easy for you to understand. Okay, just like we did task 1. All right, which is why I don't want to overload anybody with information, especially for writing. Now, we know that task 2 is the same for both academic and general candidates, where you will get an essay to write. So you will get an essay topic. Again, you will not have any options, just one topic. You have to write up to 250 words. Anything between 250 to 270 or 280 is good. Not one word less than 250. Otherwise, the test taker is penalized. Your score will go down drastically. Okay, and the duration of task 2 is 40 minutes. So total time for writing module is 1 hour. Now, as you already know, writing is a productive task, and here your examiner is going to look at a few parameters to evaluate your writing, English writing skills. One is task achievement or task response. Based on the question, how are you writing? Are you writing your task 1 or task 2 depending on the question, or are you going off track? Okay. Are you fulfilling the word count? Okay. And are your paragraphs distinct? Is your idea segregated properly and written in the paragraphs where you have to write it, or everything is messy and jumbled? What is it? Second is coherence and cohesion. As we already know, coherence is obviously structuring your paragraphs, structuring your sentences in a relevant manner. And cohesion is using words or linkers like however, moreover, furthermore, firstly, secondly, finally. Okay, these words, and using them wherever required. Then you have lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy. Lexical resource, vocabulary. Again, use proper words wherever they are required. Based on the topics, especially for essay, based on the topic, use those kind of words. For example, if your topic is advertising related to advertising, then you can use words like billboards or, paper-based ads. Okay. Use words related to the topic. That's very important. It's okay even if you don't use some really huge or uncommon word. Whatever you use it properly, and use synonyms. Okay, as much as possible and wherever possible. And then you have grammatical range and accuracy, because obviously it's an English language test. Grammar is important. I request everyone to start reading. Okay, I've been telling this and I don't know how many of you are doing it sincerely. Now, the reason I'm telling you to read anything that you like, don't spend more than 15-20 minutes on reading also. Okay, because you'll get a lot of ideas, you'll be exposed to different topics, and you will be able to write better. You will be able to churn better information, especially for your essay. All right. Yeah. So far, so good. You can give me a thumbs up, or you can just put it in the chat. Okay, great. All right. Now, moving on. So there are broadly 5 types of essay. Okay. One is problems and solution, 2-part or double question, opinion-based essay where you have agree or disagree or give your opinion and discuss both views, I will explain all this and advantages and disadvantages. Now, why did I say 5? Because I have split, I've said 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Though I have put agree and disagree and discuss both views under opinion based, I'm going to talk about it individually. All right. Now, let's look at what each type of essay is, and let us take a look at some examples of that. Okay. So problems and solutions is that kind of essay where you will get a problem or a problem statement. And basically a problem statement is given to you, and you will have to probably provide causes for that problem, that's that particular problem, and what are the possible solutions you can think of to minimize or curb that issue. For example, overpopulation in urban areas has led to numerous problems. What is this? It's again a factual statement, and it's a problem statement. What do you as a test taker must do? You have to basically identify 1 or 2 serious problems, serious ones. What are those problems caused by overpopulation? You need to find 1 or 2 serious ones and suggest ways that government can tackle these problems. Okay, so you've got to mention 1 or 2 really major problems due to overpopulation and explain or give your solutions. How will you do it? Based on your experience, based on whatever information you have. Okay, the next question type is, hold on. Yeah, 2-part question or double question. Very simple. You have a statement and you have 2 questions related to that statement. That's it. And you will have to address those 2 questions. Okay. For example, today more people are traveling than ever before. Factual statement. A simple statement has been given to you that many people these days are traveling more than earlier. Now, what is it that you need to write about? Why is this the case? Why are more people traveling more often now than before? And what are the benefits of traveling for the traveler? What benefits do these travelers have? So you have to mention, you have to elaborate and write about these 2 questions that are given to you. Okay. I will obviously in the next few classes tell you how to write each and every part of the essay in detail, and we will be doing a lot of activities, especially related to essay. All right. Okay. Now, are these 2 questions clear? Question types? Okay. The next category is opinion based, and then you have 2 questions, like 2 question types under this category. One is agree or disagree. Here you will get a statement, a factual statement, and the question and one-sided opinion, and you will have to agree or disagree with that opinion. Okay. For example, it says less parents are hitting their children these days. Some people think that this is leading to a generation of misbehaved children. So this is a fact, a factual statement. And then the second statement is an opinion, one-sided opinion, that some people think this is leading to a generation of misbehaved children. You need to agree or disagree with this view. So what view? Do you agree that because parents are hitting children less these days, it is leading to a generation of misbehaved children, or do you disagree with it? You have to give your opinion by agreeing or disagreeing to the already present opinion. Okay. And the second kind is to give an opinion and discuss both views, which means you will get a question, maybe a factual statement, or 2 opinions, 2 separate opinions of what 2 separate groups think. You have to give your view based on that topic and discuss both these opinions. For example, some people think it's better to educate boys and girls in separate school. That's one school of thought. However, others believe that boys and girls benefit more from attending the same school. That's another group, an opinion given by some other group. What do you have to do? You have to give your opinion. Do you think it is better that boys and girls study in separate schools or in the same school? Elaborate. And then discuss both the views, which is some people think it's better to educate boys and girls in separate school, whereas others think it's okay to educate them in same school. You have to elaborate all these points and also give your opinion and elaborate. Is it clear so far? It's not really difficult. Everybody just, yeah, Aparna, you have a question? Yes, please unmute and ask.
So when we are getting a question of agree and disagree, so it should be only one. We cannot agree and disagree on the same essay.
You can, but ideally, I would actually recommend that you have one strong opinion.
Okay.
Okay. I will obviously be talking about this in the next few classes. Today is just a very, very basic overview, so you all understand the different question types, because that's the foundation of an essay. All right. Okay. And finally, the last category is advantages and disadvantages. Very simple. We've even done this in school. You will be given a question and you have to write the pros and cons or positives or negatives of that. Okay. Again, it also depends on the question. You may get a question which says, whatever the topic is, give your opinion and state the disadvantages. Maybe they don't ask you for advantages at all. Or give your opinion and state the disadvantages. State the advantages. Or they may not even bother asking you about your opinion. They may directly just ask you to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. All right. So you have to basically present both sides of the argument if they ask you for advantages and disadvantages. Right? Here it says some graduates prefer to travel for a year between graduation and gaining full-time employment. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this. Of what? Of graduates traveling for 1 year between graduation and gaining full-time employment. Is this clear? Yes. So far, so good. Okay. Now, just for your ease, I've listed out common essay topics. You will definitely get a variety of topics, no doubt about it. I've just listed about 12 common topics. What I would like you to do is, of course, you will get this video also, but what I would like you to do is read up on these topics and have some information about it. So when you get something, maybe one of these topics, you will have some information to write rather than constantly repeating the same thing over and over again. All right. Yeah, I will share this also with you, the list of common essay topics, so that you can start reading up about them. Okay. Now, let's look at the structure of an essay. Just like we had structure of task 1, we'll look at the structure of an essay. First is we will write an introduction. And in the introduction, we usually paraphrase the question. And we also say what exactly we are going to do with that particular essay. I will teach you all this in the next class. Do not worry. Then you move on to writing the body paragraph 1. And in the body paragraph, you will explain. You will explain your point of view, or you will explain the causes, or you will explain the advantages or disadvantages, whatever, but you're going to elaborate. Make it a point to write long and informative body paragraphs and also give examples with it. Okay. Ideally, I would not want you to write any examples about yourselves. It's always better to write something which is factual. And then body paragraph 2. Same structure of the body paragraph. You have a main idea or an opening statement. Explain it. Give reasons, give some examples. And depending on the essay, you can also have a third body paragraph, which is optional, all right, which is why I have not mentioned it here. So ideally, Introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and then conclusion. But sometimes if you have a lot of information, and if at all your essay demands, you can have a 3rd body paragraph also, and the structure will remain the same for all the body paragraphs. And finally, you conclude the essay. And how do you do that? By paraphrasing the question, and you summarize your ideas. Basically, conclusion is nothing but summary. Okay. Now, this is not too difficult to understand, obviously, but I am going to, like I said, in the next few classes, I'm going to split each and every portion of the essay, explain it to you, and make you do some activities in class and as home assignments so that you get really better at it. But meanwhile, during the weekend, my request is I will share the list of common essay topics. Start reading them. Okay, don't sit and read essays related to that, but just read information. Don't even have to pull out. I don't want you to sit and look for questions related to these common topics. Just read about them so you have some information that you can use in your essay. Is it clear? Yes, no, maybe. Any doubts, any questions? Okay. All right. Great. Okay. Now, having said this, if you have no questions, is there any other topic or module that you have any doubts or questions related to any other topic or module? 1 second, please. Let me just share my screen. One second, let me share my screen and come to you, Aparna. Rakshanda, please send the list of letter writings. I wouldn't really say that there are any common topics in letter writing, Dr. Rakshanda, but there are some sample letters in Canvas. So please go through those sample letters, okay? Hold on, Aparna, let me just unmute you. Yes, Aparna?
So I have 2 questions. One, when we are done with the first one, you said 20 minutes. So does that mean we cannot go back after finishing the second essay?
No. You can, okay, be it computer-based or paper-based. They just ideally tell, very good question, Aparna. They just tell you that spend only 20 minutes for task 1 and 40 minutes for task 2, because in task 2, you have to write 250 words. So you really need to spend that kind of time in task 2. All right. But they really won't take away your task 1 answer sheet after 20 minutes. No, you can go back and check. That's absolutely okay. And if you are taking computer-based test, you will be able to move between sections or tasks, okay, in that 1 hour. So not a problem. But I would recommend all of you to stick to this duration that they have mentioned, 20 and 40. Okay?
Yeah. And the second one is like, I don't know if, have you got any idea like which kind of letters like more often? Like
no, there is nothing like that. Again, no common topics as such, first of all. And secondly, no guidebook. All right. So I would suggest just go through the letters in Canvas. You guys have the 5 mock tests also in TCY, skillmarathon.tcyonline.com. Go through those, do those. I think you will be good to go. Even on Canvas, there are a lot of essays which you can practice. Okay. Ideally, do not memorize anything. It is just practice, and after that, whatever topic or whatever question you get, you will be able to do it well. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? Anila, Dr. Leenu, Jeshma, Rakshanda, Stency, Vinod, anybody? Okay. Is there any subtypes for letter types? Okay, yeah, like I've been mentioning, you may get either a complaint letter where you will have, let's say you go to a restaurant, you're not very happy about the customer service, so write a letter to the restaurant manager and complain to him. Or you may get a letter where you're requesting something very broad, okay? It is not that you need to sit and memorize those, please understand that. maybe an apology letter like the one I showed you today, okay? Or maybe you are asking something from somebody or asking a favor from somebody. So these are the kinds of subtypes which are there, but nothing too major and nothing that you'll have to worry about. Okay, they're all very common. Just understand that 3 kinds: formal, semi-formal, informal. How I should be writing the letter, have that template in mind, know how to write it, and you will be sorted. Okay, plus in Canvas, just read all the sample letters as much as you can and try and use them, or try and use that knowledge and whatever we've learned in class in your writing task. Okay, anybody else? Anila, Rakshanda, Aparna, Jeshma, Stency. Okay. Any other module, be it speaking or reading? Any questions? All right. Okay, so if you do not have any questions, okay, no questions, then obviously, if you do have any questions on the other days from, I obviously open the WhatsApp forum. You can go ahead and ask me there also. And of course, I also give you some time in class to drop your queries in the chat. So feel free. Another thing is, next week on 13th August, we will be completing our class. We will also, and we will obviously be completing essay writing as well. Okay. So yes, having said that, my request would be that during this weekend, read up on some common topics that I will be sharing with you. Again, don't sit and memorize anything, just read for knowledge. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys on Monday at 5:30. Okay. See you, and please don't miss classes next week. It's pretty important, especially the writing module. All right. See you and have a great weekend. Bye, guys. Thank you for your cooperation again. Bye.